Varsity Cup.
Welcome to round 6 of 9 in the FNB Varsity Cup 2018. Tuks fourth on the log, hosting Northwest University Puka. Apologies to Puka, they're fourth on the log. Tuks find themselves languishing in ninth. The defending champions really having a very tough time of it. The first half of this 2018 season certainly not going their way. They're back at home today. Will this be the change, the impetus they need to get their campaign back on track? Joining me to answer this question, Wim Visser and Etienne Reineke. Wim, Tuks must be very relieved to be back here today.
Oh, they sure will be, but they are doing the hard yards. Look, they lost their open against Shimlers. They are the reigning champions. And at the end of the day, like winning is a habit. Losing becomes a habit as well. So they need that catalyst. Let's hope it's this evening, playing at home, and they can get a good win in front of their home fans.
Etienne, speaking of catalysts, and the Bulls this weekend had to contend with playing with 13 men and defending against the Lions with 13 men. Do you think the teams are making use of the power play correctly and the opportunities that gives them?
Yeah, I'd like to elaborate on Wim's point there. He was talking about Tuks languishing at the bottom. And perhaps if you look at Tuks, all the games they've played, not managing their power play correctly, where the team that has managed it has played really, really well. We think back to that game against Wits, which Tuks lost. First 20-30 minutes, they looked comfortable, but immediately after they scored, Wits used the power play to come back in the game. So I think that's the difference. In terms of a bigger picture, I think the point of origin, the points, has been a bit of a challenge, and that's something that Varsity Cup will look at it for in the future.
Let's take a look at the results that we saw in last week. If you missed any of the Varsity Cup action last week, Wits and Marties drew 30 all. UCT Ikeys getting a famous win over the defending champs, 23-13. Madiba's going down to Northwest University Puka, and Shimlers losing to UJ in a big way. So that's a big win for Northwest University Puka. They are sitting in third at this stage with only 4 games played so far. Of course, they have one in hand, which is something that Wits and Marties do not have on their side. Tuks at this stage are playing to leapfrog CUT, and the Madiba is out to get out of that relegation zone at the bottom of the FNB Varsity Cup log. Today, it's Tuks hosting Northwest University Puka here. If you are in Joburg, you can go down to watch UJ versus the Madibas. In Bloemfontein, it's the Ixias versus Wits, and in Stellenbosch, a very big derby, Marties versus Ixias, Marties versus Ikeys. Let's get back to this game. Wim, considering everything we've mentioned now, where are the biggest challenges for Tuks in their lineup, perhaps, or in their preparation for today's game?
Well, the big thing about Tuks is the amount of tries they scored. They've only scored 9 tries in 4 games, which is pretty low for a reigning champion side. The other big thing is they've conceded 22 points and some change every game. That means you have to score more than your opponents. You only scored 9 tries in 4 games. It makes it difficult. Big games are won on defence. I'm sure we'll see a very, very good defensive effort from Tuks this evening.
Kobani Bobo caught up with Jonathan McQuena, the visiting coach, about how his team will go about dismantling Tuks today.
Jonathan, a good win last week. I mean, how much has that done for your confidence?
No, definitely. I think, after the loss against UCT, we had a few harsh words against each other. But we're happy with the win last night again, or last week rather. Again, this week, last week counts for nothing. It's back to the drawing board and starting from zero again.
What did you guys focus on leading up to this game?
Well, just opportunities. I mean, last week we had opportunities, about 21 opportunities that we didn't convert. So we focused hard this week, and I was actually a bit old school this week, where I punished them with regards if they didn't use an opportunity getting into 22. So we know we can create the opportunities. It's about being patient and capitalizing on them.
Tuks are under pressure, and you get a chance to come and maybe add on those wounds.
Yeah, look, you know what? If it wasn't for a few results that went, or a few calls that went against them, then things would have been different for Tuks. They're a good team. They've got a good management and a good coach under David Manuel. Unfortunately, some of the calls have just not been going the way, and I feel for them. But tonight is 80 minutes, and the team who wants it the most can probably win.
Best of luck for tonight.
Thank you very much, sir.
Jonathan McQuena quite generously lavishing praise on David Manuel, a guy in the hot seat. He did say to me now he's sweating, and he's really hoping today we'll see a return of good fortune for Tuks. Etienne, why do you think Tuks find themselves at the bottom of the log? Not to oversimplify it, but...
Well, first of all, I'll get back to my point I made a bit earlier. Except for a couple of calls that went against him, they didn't use their power play to get back into the game when there was points scored against them. Especially, I remember that first game, Tuks and Shimlas, there was opportunity for them to use it early on in the game. They didn't use it. They were forced to use it in the 60th minute and they ended up not having the ball. And exactly happened the same against Wits. When they had to take the power play after the 60th minute, they were for 3 minutes without the ball. So that's perhaps just to simplify it, one thing that I'll have to look at.
Of course, they've also suffered some injuries.
Yeah, we've got a new pairing at 9 and 10 this week. They're out. Tinus de Beer is out. Maria is out. So that's a big loss for him. And for young guys to step up, especially, I can see a bit of rain coming down. It's a big call for him, and it's going to be difficult to see how they handle it.
Okay, well, we sent Kobani Bobo to catch up with David Manuel and particularly ask him about the fact that Booker found themselves in much the same position in 2017. Did they take heart from that recovery?
Sometimes they say success that sort of comes up with a bit of more depression. I mean, how has it been for you guys?
It's been tough, Bobs. Like I said the last time, we didn't envision the start. But it's also part of the game, so it's important for us as a team to embrace it and to make sure we put a good 80 minutes together today.
What is it that you've been working on so that you can finish it off?
Like any other game, this last couple of 4 games, we create a lot of opportunities, but we just struggle to finish. So hopefully there's been experience that has been gained in terms of that, and hopefully we can finish some tries, finish some opportunities with some tries today.
And then you look at it, I mean, Puka comes here, they were champions a few years ago, and then they struggled last season. How do you see that comparison to you guys?
I think every team goes through cycles. They got their ups and downs. So we're aware of that, but it's not an excuse. We still need to come out and make sure that we're competitive. And like I said, put a good 80 minutes together to give us opportunity to win the game tonight. I think the win is important for us in terms of confidence and in terms of the campaign moving forward. So we understand the pressure that's on us as a team. And hopefully we can be up for the challenge today.
Best of luck for tonight.
Thank you, Bobs.
Now, UB Tuks fans would point to the fact that they were only 1 point behind last week against UCT when UCT scored an intercept try right at the end of the match, a 7-pointer, which then made for a 10-point difference in the scoreline. Considering they were there and thereabouts for a lot of that game against UCT, are we going to see Tuks returning to form? Final comments, Vim?
We're all hoping that Tuks will turn to form, but at the end of the day, they're on a bit of a sinking ship at the moment. It's about the players not having alibis. What do you do when you're on a sinking ship? You either jump off and you swim to shore, or you row to shore and you fight to the end.
Will you see a character-building win here today, Etas, or will your money be on Puka?
No, having a talk with Jono before, and that's the worst place you want to be in, is a team like Puka coming here, being the favourites, up against a team whose back is against the wall. I'd like to think that Tuks bring it back tonight. They have to fight, but looking at Puka, they've built a bit of consistency. They've got a bit of experience. So you might lean a little bit towards Puka, but I've been made a fool of predicting before, so I'm rather not going to say anything.
The Super Brew showed you flames this weekend. Hey. It's okay, it's okay. Mochidisi Mohono is in the lead in our Supersport Experts pool, so she's showing everyone flames. Let's take a look at what took place in that FNB coin toss. The coin used during the coin toss is a 1-ounce Krugerrand sponsored by FNB Share Investing. When we return, we'll bring you the first half in this encounter coming to you live from Pretoria. It's FNB Tuks hosting FNB Northwest University Puka.
Rugby that rocks. We make the team. We stand together. Varsity.